Hello and welcome. It is the 1st of December 2017. My name is Derek. Hashtag crypto trading video. Everything you do within your own risk and own reward. This is the second video of the night. I already did one on miscellaneous Bitcoin topics like Coinbase and the Big Bang Theories episode on Thursday night, as well as a trading strategy that I'm looking towards as far as Litecoin as I head into the new year, where I think Litecoin is what it will be doing next year. So then let's move on to this one. This is a hit BTC. Look at the chart for Bitcoin Gold on the 15-minute time frame, and very interesting day for me today, as I made a decision to move some BTG over to hit BTC. When they were there, what I do in a situation like this, as I do move coins from one place to another more than frequently enough, basically, or frequently enough, and I put my sell orders in. We'll place here, 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 and there, of course, and I put buy orders in. And I think I did so maybe about 1 hour before this, maybe an hour and a half or two. And next thing you know, I get a notification, buy order, Bitcoin Gold, 0.00200, whatever, another number after that. And I'm like, what the heck that just happened? Did Bitcoin Gold just crash? Like, I'm like freaking out here. Like, I wasn't expecting this buy order to fill yet. Because my strategy is with these codes, because I know they go way up and way down sick, that I'm going to put large sell order increments up and down, which means if I'm buying, my next buy order was 20, and then I have another one in below that. Just guess for yourself what you think it is. The answer is around 12. And then I'll go like 8. I don't even have another one after that. I only have the 12 one after that now. Because there's just a lot of sick volatility. If you're going to chase markets to the way they go to nothing, at least you know you're only going to buy like 5-6 times before it goes to nothing, and then that's it. You're not going to lose much. But when you're playing within these smaller exchanges, you can have insane buy orders and sell orders get hit. And you're not even looking to get it. I'm just looking long term to put my orders in, set them, and forget them. So therefore, I had to do nothing as far as this code until it either went to my buy or sell order. Because back in here, I have a buy order here, and my sell order, I can check. 350. So I'm looking for it either to have a decent move to the upside or downside. I need to do not a thing until it either sells. Then I'll place a buy order somewhere around 25. And if it came here, well now I have a sell order at 29. I could sell it now, and maybe I should because of the market sentiment. And I probably will, actually. Because oftentimes in a situation like this, I will just sell immediately, and I'll do that now. So now what I can do, and what I will do, at least after the end of this video, is place a buy order back at 20. And then it buys, I'll sell it back again. My hope for this strategy with any code is, let me just put a different chart up so I can show it better. And I have inserted the XBY BTC chart on the screen. And this chart is something that looks pretty bearish, or might have another leg lower, and it very well may. And it could be on its way to its end, and it could be on its way for major gains. And within these codes, if I keep placing sell orders strategically in many different spots, and even places north of here, I already strategically have my buy orders placed. I'm not buying until down here, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because the significant lag theory. You break a key level. Oh, this is a key level. I don't think it's going to just go a little bit, although it may, and if it does, who cares? I mean, I'm fine with that when I'm long. But I don't want to buy. My highest buy order, I think, is about $1.20 or 120 satoshi. Then below that, you're talking like buying at like 50. If you want to even keep buying, that is. But in the situation here, if you were to get into the play, if you were to ask me, how would I play this code? What I would state is, okay, well, how much do you want to invest into it? Bitcoin, I don't care what the number is. I would say probably if I was in your position, I would take about half of what you're looking to invest and buy market price now. And then with half of what you got remaining, or a third rather, buy a third of it at the 120 handle, another third at around 50, and another third at around 10 to 20. And that's it for your buy orders. Just put them, leave them, and don't even do anything until your software tells you what the order has been bought. And then, of course, you're going to place new sell orders when that's the case. However, you're buying now. You're buying around 200. Where's the first sell spot? Well, 300 is a gain of 50%. That's not a bad first place to go. And then maybe you go around 400 or 500 even, depending on how many sellers you want to have. The more sellers you have, the lower amount of incremental differences you can go. But if you only want to have, say, 9, 10, 11 sell orders in, I like to use like how poker blinds go up, at least the good poker tournaments where they go up not double, but 50%, 40% higher kind of deal, 60, 70% higher. So then you look at the range, go 300, maybe 400, 500, 700, 1,000, 1,250, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, maybe 5,000, 7,500, 10,000, 15,000, 25,000, and 50,000. Something like that. And I mean, those last few, you don't need to have them because it's not that likely or realistic that's going to happen. And then when a situation comes in, when you are selling, and this is for any code with major volatility moves, so any small mid-cap code basically, not a large cap code, but anything that's not in the top 20, 25 of coin market cap, and really even top 15 for that matter, 10. You are looking to buy at extreme differentials back. You want to be greedy on this because it's going to really be easy to trade. It's going to be very profitable. And that is if you're selling at 300 and you already got a buy order next at 120, then there is no need to buy back until at least where it came from last, which is where you bought it, around 180 or 200. And if you're selling, say, 10,000 at around that 300 mark, and you're looking to buy back at 200, it's going to work out that a little bit less with rake, a little under 15,000 is what you could buy back for what you sold for. My favorite strategy is a good number in between, higher than basically a number in between, 50% between difference of what you last basically sold it for and what the break-even buyback would be. And in this case, it would be around 15,000. So I'd basically try to buy back around 12,500. But where this gets fun is when you are able to, say, get multiple sell orders in a row. And this is very common because when these markets go, they go, which is why you want to get yourself in place like this for those situations. And they go and you maybe get 2 or 3 sell orders. This is where it works out very well. So you have a sell order at 3, 4, and 5. They all hit. You basically sell for a 400 average. This is where you can look to buy, maybe put 2 buy orders in to replace those 3. Or put 3 in, but look to go for very low prices, like 180, 225, and like 275. And now when you're selling at 500 and buying back at 275, you'll see some big gains. But it gets bigger than that, because when you get situations where you sell 4, 5, 6 orders in a row and you get the straight up moves, markets that go up 4, 5, 6 times, now you're looking to buy back at a 60% price reduction, 65% price reduction. Because it happens way too often, you might as well take advantage of it. So now you could be in a situation where if you're selling 10,000, now you can technically buy back around 25,000, but you're going to look to buy back somewhere around 15 or 16. And then that Bitcoin or whatever market you're selling it against, Litecoin as well. I do it against both Bitcoin and Litecoin, XBY. I'm going to buy back so I can profit the base currency and add more shares. And on an advanced level, when you get to areas where it's extremely high, it's a good idea to liquidate and either exit out of the position forever, but not really, but wait for big pullbacks as it is. So naturally, when you have so many of these orders come through, then you're going to, again, want to buy cheaper. As you can see in here, with this big gain, buying back at much like 65%, it did better than that, of course. So it's very common for those big retracements to come into place. Okay then, so that's one of the key things that I think is important. Now another thing I want to mention, as a spectator, or really just someone who's cheering for how I hope a market's going to move, when I enter a position, I am very happy if it just has a major pump and just goes, and I get sell order after sell order get filled. I love that. That happened to me when I got into Ethereum last year for the first time, somewhat aggressive based on my bankroll, which was basically my second week in the game, or third week. And it just went straight up, and it was interesting. Same thing with Dash, and I learned a lesson in my early trading. I was selling out of my tokens so easy. That's why I use a strategy like this. And within, I see a lot better profits come in if I get choppy action, down moves, hopefully both, where I can maybe come down here, fill some buy orders. And if I only fill one buy order, I'm probably just going to sell it up top. Maybe put another sell order up top as well, because I'm going to buy at least twice as much that I'm going to be selling for. So if I'm, say, selling everything for 10,000 each, my first buy order is probably going to be about 20,000 or 25,000. Maybe even more than that. And even below that, you're talking about like 40, 50,000 buys. If you get like 2, 3 buy orders that get filled, basically what I do is I'll delete every single sell order that I got and I'll just replace them, because instead of selling like 10,000, I'll sell 13,000 now because I have more to sell. But even the simple action of chopping around, markets going like where you hit sell order, buy order, sell order, sell order, buy order, sell order, buy order, buy order, sell order, buy order, sell order. If all that's happening, the next thing you know, after like 4 or 5 of them or so get executed, now you can just readjust your sell orders again because you've done some great gains, and now instead of, you're selling 10, 20% more. Instead of selling 1,000 or 10,000, you're selling 11 or 11,000. And of course, that is larger profits for you. I have seen too many charts look something like this for me to know that if I'm to be having movements like this, that by the time the market's down maybe 35%, I don't know, maybe 9 months or a year later from the time that I bought it, that I have already got return on investment greater than 100% from what I started, if not 200%, because of all the buying low and selling high that the strategy would implement. And that's why when I talk about the advanced level of when the markets are really high, to unload a lot, because when you get in situations like in here, let's just assume when you start, you invested 0.1 Bitcoin in it, and your net profits in here might be somewhere around, say, 2.5 Bitcoin. And if you just keep on going, maybe down towards here, your profit might be 1 Bitcoin or 0.9, which is higher than what you started, but lower than your 2.5 that you had. And that's the nature of a lot of this type of movements. You will notice when markets do this, you're going to lose some coin, but you're going to be making a lot overall because of the gains you get on the big pumps and how fast it can be, where you can guarantee profits, where say you can have, well, your buys and sells. So if you got, say, buy, sell, say you've bought in, say, 20 units, now you, or whatever else after that, maybe you got like 15 that are sold. But if you can buy for an average sell difference of 100%, if you've say maybe you bought this, say, for an average of 10, so for 2,000 or 100 for 2,000, and this for 20, so you've sold this for, like, say, 3,000. So now you've already sold for what more than you bought. That's the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do within this game with every single code, is implement it so that I can get enough trades in that my net buys minus sells gives me enough shares to play with, yet my net sells in my base currency is higher. That's what I'm looking for. But when you get to the situations in here, that's why the advanced thing is, well, if I'm worth 0.25 Bitcoin, I don't want, or 2.5 Bitcoin, I want to ensure that I want to protect myself and buy back very, very cheap. And in spots like that, now instead of worth 0.9, you might be worth about, well, 2.5 or 2.3 or something like that, because you're buying a lot of these cheaper prices, and you did have one good profit-taking opportunity on this fake rally. And this is just a fake situation, but I've seen a lot of cryptos and codes do stuff like this. And I want to finish this video off by talking about why I like multiple exchanges, as I did intro it with Bitcoin Gold from HitBTC, where I was able to get an amazing buy order come in. There was one situation earlier this year where on a smaller exchange, I put a buy order in for these lower levels. And it looked like one night that, you know what, there's a chance that if I could actually get a 100 buy order filled for something that's trading for 5 times higher on a major exchange, BITTREX. And it actually hit. And that was major profits because I could buy it, move it to that other exchange. So when you're able to get those buys hit on a code like Bitcoin Gold that trades on so many different exchanges, and you do so on the smaller one, I mean, the price is always going to reflect what the main market is going to be at. And when you look at these same codes on all the exchanges, you're going to get familiar with it when you see Dash on POLONIEX and BITTREX on HitBTC, on Yobit, and any of the other exchanges out there. There are almost a couple or more, maybe even more than a couple of different dozen ones to choose from. And within such a third-party risk, if anything happens Mt. Gox style, where an exchange has bad situation, what I fear most, I fear an exchange is going to have something shady happen with player funds. That's gambling talk, player funds. But they're going to do something that's just not going to be good for the player. Full tilt poker kind of issue as well. So let's just assume that you were a poker player back in 2006 or whenever that happened. I can't remember what year it happened. And then all of a sudden, like, that poker room just shuts down big. And all your funds were in there, you're kind of screwed. But if you had like 10 different poker sites you were playing on, or 12, 15 different funded sites, and something happens to one of them, well, that sucks that you're going to lose what you're going to lose, but it's only now going to be a percentage of what you have. So therefore, you got the risk of the entire, all the exchanges having problems at the same time. And I don't think it's that big of a risk. And in fact, the profits that I've been able to get from trading cryptos, I've already got rewards from it, and I continue to plan on getting more moving forward. So within the small sites, they have advantages of, it's really easy to buy and sell a little bit, like buy a little cheaper and sell a little more expensive on those sites than it is on the bigger ones. And arbitraging, especially with places like CSEX or C/CEX as I call it, Yobit, Coin Exchange, there's just Hit BTC, anything that's not really POLONIEX or anything with extreme volume on their codes anyway, then what you can notice sometimes is situations where, let's just assume on one of the smaller places, you can buy something really cheap that, or sell something really expensive, because that's what the market conditions have. I was able to see situations on a small site where maybe somebody's trying to buy a particular code for 65,000 and they want to buy maybe 0.2 Bitcoin worth. And I can buy it right now on BITTREX maybe for 55,000, which is 10,000 satoshi cheaper. So if you can get coins over there, you got a gain right off the bat of like 20%. And I've seen better percents than that available. And I've seen better than 0.1 and 0.2. I've seen 1 and 2 Bitcoins available. Unfortunately, when I was seeing some good 1, 2 Bitcoin numbers available, that's when I didn't have the guts and understanding of how to play that strategy aggressively. Of course, right now, because I'm limiting my time in trading, I'm probably going to increase these videos. I'm not doing as much of it because I feel I really don't need to. It's a lot of work. And that's what I like about my strategy, because if I was telling somebody how to get into it, one of the things I would tell them is this strategy of just putting buy orders and sell orders that I talk about, especially if you're waiting for big incremental numbers. It's going to be very boring, especially if only you're going to do it with like 5 or 6 codes, let alone 1 or 2. Even if you're doing it with 20, it's 25, it's going to be, and 50, it's going to be very boring, depending on how often you check your computer when you got 50. Because there's going to be times where you're going to notice, say you have 4 codes or 5 codes, you might get 2 or 3 trades in a week. And that's not too hard to manage. So it's a strategy that I find very profitable with the times of the market conditions of the cryptos and how it's so easy to do. I'm just playing that strategy much more aggressive moving forward because I can do so in less time. That's why a lot of the strategies that I was doing that made me a lot of profits, to the point where I really don't need to aggressively try to make them anymore, I can just not do anymore. And with easy access to many cryptos, if there's anything you really want, when you're on sites like Cryptopia, that's another great site I like, by the way. And Yobit has it too. I don't trade there, but they have a lot of different codes. Coin Exchange has a lot of different codes as well. Then you can put buy orders in relatively quickly if it's something you need to do based on the research you're doing on something particular. As there can often be times where maybe you see at a particular time, oh my goodness, this code I've never heard of. I've got enough information now where it's a good time to buy. Because you've already got funds on a site that might have it, you could have that code in maybe 30 seconds. And that will be it. And here I am making another 20+ minute video when I was planning on doing about 12 to 15 here, but that's how she goes. That's how it goes. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you on the after sunrise on the first day of December. Take care.